All right. So we are going to talk about art and emotion today. And what I want you to do is I want you to look at different artworks and try to see what the artist is trying to make the viewer feel or see. So, art and emotion. Many artists express their emotions through art making, and the finished art will reflect that emotion. Other artists may imagine with the hope of creating an emotional response in the viewer. In looking at several famous paintings below, which emotions do you feel? Decide for yourself first and then continue to the next slide to see if you are reading these paintings the same way Artsology does. No cheating. So, for example, the very first one are these two pictures right here, these different paintings. One is by Henri Matisse. It's called Dance 2. It was done between 1909 and 1910. It's a group of people dancing, obviously. And what I want you to do is think about what kind of emotion that our artist, Henri Matisse, wants us to get from this painting. Does he want us to feel happy, sad, angry, nervous, fearful? Like, where are we going with this painting? So I want you to look at it and then decide for yourself. Then I want you to look over at the next painting of the girl chewing on the side of her hand of Roy. It's by Roy Lichtenstein. It's called Frightened Girl, 1966. Now, this one should kind of give it away of the emotion in the title of the painting, but not all of artists do that. So whether they have the emotion written in the title or not, you need to be able to read paintings. So the mood of this painting could be frightened or scared or worried or nervous. So think of those things. Then, after you've got an idea for both of these paintings, I want you to click to the next slide and it's going to give you the answer. So here's how artology works or reads emotions. Although this is the beauty of art, there is no right answer. You may respond in a completely different way. Now, if you don't have the same um, emotion from these two paintings that artology has, keep that in mind because you will be writing about this. So Lichtenstein's girl, like the girl that was right up here, frightened girl, they're saying that it's fear that he's portraying on her, which is completely understandable. And then for um Matisse, you know, we've got this totally different thing going on. So Matisse has got our joy going on in his paintings. So he has the dancers and they're supposed to be protruding happiness and stuff. But that could be through the dance or that could be through like body language that we're looking at in this one. Okay, so the colors may not look happy to you around it, but like it's supposed to represent happiness. So for your next set of paintings, we have Pablo Picasso's The Weeping Woman in 1937. And then we have Marc Chagall's Birthday 1915. I'm not going to give you answers to these, but I want you to start checking, like, think about what they could be. Now, of course, the answer is on the slide after it, so I'm just going to click over to the next one. These two are Roy Lichtenstein's Gur 1965, and this one right here is Francis Bacon's Study after Velázquez's portrait of Pope Innocent X, 1953. So he's like making his almost like a political statement about the Pope. So just think about different emotions that you're going to get through these ones. And then, of course, click over to the other slide that's going to give you the answers. These two paintings, this one's by Marc Chagall, The Promenade, 1917. This is Grant Wood, American Gothic, 1930. Think about your different emotions in these ones. Are you happy, sad, nervous, cheerful, angry? Think of those things. And then when you are all done, check looking at your emotions versus what the artist is trying to say, or what our artology is like um telling you. Remember, artology is the study of art. It'll be your turn. So what emotion or mood did each painting give you? Were some different or the same? Explain if they were different. What about the painting gave you this emotion or set the mood of that painting? Some topics to talk about: color, perspective, line, shapes, focal points. All of these things have an effect on mood. You could talk about how color in this painting might create a cheerful sense, or you could talk about how color in this painting might create a darker, more serious sense. You could talk about the focal point, like where your eye was drawn to first kind of gave you that feeling of whatever the painting's giving you, okay? You need to do this in a Google Doc. You need to talk about these paintings. When you're talking about these paintings, you need to give me the name of the painting. Okay, give me the artist and the title that they're underneath every single painting, so it shouldn't be difficult. So, after you're done talking about like which paintings like you agreed on, or which paintings you had a different emotion or mood from, you are going to continue. You are going to, okay, I'm going to read this. After discussing how you felt about each painting covered, pick a sculpture we have covered in this section of work. We're looking at sculptures. Write about how emotion is expressed through this sculpture. So how does this sculpture express an emotion? We've talked about this in class. Give examples from the sculpture to explain your thoughts. So you must be able to explain yourself in 5 sentences minimum. So at least 5 sentences. You're only picking one sculpture. You're talking about one sculpture. You could talk about west wind, and you could talk about how where your eye goes to first on the sculpture and how it helps you to understand the feeling that the artist wants you to have based on this. You could talk about the background of the sculpture. You could say, it was made because of this. This is why the artist wanted to convey this point. It kind of helps me understand the mood or the feeling that I'm getting from this artwork. So you need to be very thorough when you write about stuff. You should write as if you are writing to someone who is not teaching you art history. So if I were to give these papers out to other teachers in the building and they had no idea what these paintings or sculptures are, because probably they don't, they should be able to read your writing and understand exactly where you're coming from, and have a better understanding of the sculpture that you're talking about. If you get lost or have questions, please email me. I am more than happy to help you.